Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Ulysses Hammond, who is the Executive Director of the Connecticut Port Authority. Sir, welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming down.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming down. You're actually a first-time guest with me, so welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming down. So tell us a little bit about yourself and exactly what the Connecticut Port Authority is.
Well, as the Executive Director of the Port Authority, I'm responsible for the 3 deep water ports of Connecticut: New Haven, Bridgeport, New London. But also, what a lot of people don't know about the Port Authority is that we're also responsible for the infrastructure of about 35 small harbors as well. Yes. So we have a small harbors program whereby we assist municipalities in the upgrade of their harbors as well.
Okay.
Yes, and also as part of the Port Authority's responsibility, we're responsible too for the pilot commission. And so all of the Connecticut pilots that are licensed through also the Connecticut Port Authority. So those are some of the things that a lot of people don't know about the Connecticut Port Authority that, I'm glad we were able to share.
Right. Now, how long have you been with the Port Authority?
I've been with the Port Authority now for 1 year, 3 months, 4 hours, and yeah.
There you go. Yeah, right. All right. You like it?
I do. It's very exciting. And we're doing very important work on behalf of the citizens of Connecticut. And so that's what I really, really enjoy.
Now, you said you guys have just a couple different programs that you guys oversee with the Port Authority. Maybe you can tell us a little bit in more detail about each of the programs?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when I talk about the Small Harbor program, because that is something that is very, very important to a number of these small communities, like Norwalk or Westbrook or Branford or Norwich.
Yep.
So when it comes to the dredging of those harbors, also when it comes to improving the docks and improving the access to the harbors as it relates to tourism, those are the kinds of things that we're very much involved in. And that is something I get a great deal of satisfaction assisting these municipalities in, because to a large extent, these projects, they cost a great deal for small communities, and we've been able to, through the legislature, been able to provide significant funding for those infrastructures, because it means a great deal to the local economy, but it also means a great deal to the total economy that is derived with respect to the state of Connecticut. So that is one of the projects that we're really, really proud of. Then we have huge dredging projects taking place in New Haven. Okay. Yes, and Bridgeport. So we work very closely with the Army Corps of Engineers on those projects. But the one that most people are very familiar with is the one that's taking place right now in the Port of New London.
Yes.
And that is a major effort to improve a port that was not providing the kind of economic development that the state really, really needed, but now is positioned to actually do that. We have turned over now 75% of the acreage right now to our terminal operator, which is Gateway. Okay. And so we have about 25% of the acreage still to work on and to finish, but that will be finished by the end of the year. Already, a great deal of activity is taking place with respect to tall vessels, big vessels coming in with heavy lift cargo. That heavy lift cargo is turbines that are going to be assembled, but first of all staged and then assembled right in New London, and then heading out to the wind farms right off the coast of Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes, very exciting stuff. So when it comes to the decarbonization of our nation, it's starting right here in Connecticut.
Absolutely.
And right in southeastern Connecticut as well.
Yeah.
Jobs, that's also an important aspect of what this is all about. And at the height of our construction project, we were running anywhere between 160 and 180 jobs on a daily basis. And about 67% of those jobs were Connecticut citizens. Right. So we're really proud of the effort that's taking place there. And everyone is really excited also about the promise of what this project means, not only just to Connecticut, but to our nation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, how closely do you guys, tell us about the partnership and how closely you guys work with Gateway Terminal?
Oh, the partnership consists of Ørsted, which is right now the leading company for offshore wind in the world at this point in time. And they have partnered with Eversource, which is the main supplier of electricity here in Connecticut.
Absolutely.
And so as partners, they are also now tenants, if you will, of Gateway, because Gateway is the terminal operator.
Right.
But they have also a 10-year lease with us, that is with the state of Connecticut and CPA, and that lease will generate $2 million per year for the rental of that space.
Okay.
But they have been an excellent partner in this whole project. They have also contributed, of the $300 million of this project, they have contributed $100 million of the project, which is a very, very significant contribution towards the cost of the project. And they've been great to work with.
Yeah.
And right now, they are also bringing in components.
Okay.
We have had already 16 tower sections delivered, and in another couple of weeks, blades as well as nacelles, or the generators, will also be coming into the Port of New London. And the plan right now is for South Fork Wind, and I'll talk a little bit more about South Fork Wind and Revolution Wind and Sunrise, because those are the three projects and the first three wind projects that have really been commissioned now by Connecticut for these particular partners.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about each project, please.
Well, with respect to South Fork is our first project for South Fork Wind, and these particular projects are all off the coast of Long Island, about 35 miles east of Long Island.
Okay.
And the first project is going to be about 132 megawatts of power, enough to power about 70,000 homes. That's South Fork Wind.
Wow.
That's going to be 12 turbines. But the total number of turbines for those three projects will be 160 turbines that will be staged in New London, and also will be delivered to the wind farms out of New London. Okay. The first project which is South Fork, will actually deploy this summer. Okay. September is what we're targeting right now. That's going to be a very, very exciting time because these towers will be going out vertically, and they will not only be going out vertically, but they'll be going out two at a time for this first wind project. The first wind project is also 12 turbines. So we're starting very small in terms of the number of turbines for a particular wind project, and then we gear up next year for Revolution Wind, which is 100 turbines as well. So it's going to be a pretty exciting period for the next few years with respect to the installation and delivery of these turbines to these wind farms.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's like a really cool project.
Well, it is. And from an environmental standpoint, this is going to mean a great deal when it comes to the decarbonization, really, of our not only our state, but of our nation. And as a matter of fact, this particular project is one of a kind right now. It will be the first pier capable of accommodating nacelles, blades, and towers all at the same time. Okay. Yes, we developed two piers, and these two piers have the capacity of having 5,000 pounds per square foot in terms of capacity. Okay. And most terminals of that nature will only have about 1,000 pounds per square foot. Wow. So we have increased the capacity 5 times with respect to our piers. For the laydown area, 3,000 pounds per square foot in order to actually handle the weight of these huge components that are going to be housed and staged in New London. So it's a very exciting project from an environmental standpoint. It's also a very exciting project from an economic development standpoint.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about also anywhere between 80 to 120 jobs
Right.
at the pier, as well when it comes to mobilizing the movement of these turbines across the terminal.
Yeah.
And also the assembly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
It's probably going to be really cool to see him assemble the.
Yes. And to see them going out from
Yeah.
New London, because in relationship to the Gold Star Bridge, which is about 150 feet from the water to the
Yep.
bridge, these are going to be about 300 in the air, 300 feet in the air going out. And so that's going to be an impressive sight. We have also the first United States vessel that's being built right now by Dominion. It's called the Charybdis.
Okay.
And it's being built in Texas as we speak. It's due to be completed the end of this year, but its first deployment is scheduled now to be in New London for the Revolution Wind project.
Wow.
Yes, and so that's going to be next year.
Okay.
Yes, and it's going to be quite a scene and quite a sight to see.
Absolutely.
And especially from the Gold Star Bridge when these towers are
It's right there.
going to be, yes,
It's right
yes, going out from New London to the wind farm. That particular vessel will be capable of handling 6 of these towers at a time, and the towers that are going out this summer will be going out 2 at a time.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
but again, it's going to be an exciting time for southeastern Connecticut and for Connecticut.
Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll
Sure.
be right back.
Sure.
The latest social media scam is yet another phishing scheme designed to scare Facebook users into sharing their login credentials. You receive an email that appears to come from Facebook and says your page has been disabled for violating Facebook terms. If you believe the decision is incorrect, you can request a review and file an appeal at the link below. Well, the message may also state that if you don't act in the next 24 hours, Facebook will delete your account permanently. The email includes a link that appears to lead to Facebook.com. However, if you hover over the link, you'll discover that it doesn't point to Facebook's website. If you click the link, you'll likely be taken to an official-looking page and prompted to complete a form and confirm your password, giving scammers all the information they need to hack your account. Instead, what you should do is log into your Facebook account directly to verify there's a problem. Never enter your login information on a third-party website. And remember, scammers love to target social media accounts, so fake alerts are not uncommon. You can read more about phishing scams at bbb.org.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Ulysses Hammond from the Connecticut Port Authority. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's open up this segment talking about the construction aspect of things.
Great. And what I've been trying to do before we complete the construction, I've been trying to get as many people to actually see what it takes to build a port like this before everything is covered up, because all of that capacity that we've been talking about, all of that capacity building takes place really subsurface.
Right.
And so one of our piers we've been able to build and construct, if you will, over land, but the one that we're finishing up right now, which is called the State Pier, that one is being constructed over water.
Right.
And so there have been a number of challenges in actually trying to make these particular platforms very, very capacity resilient. And so it has been a challenge to actually get through high elevations of rock, because as you well know, anyone who basically plants a garden in Connecticut, they're going to hit rock.
Absolutely.
Well, when you're out in the water,
you're going to hit rock.
You're going to hit rock.
Absolutely.
And so, and you're going to hit some very huge boulders. And so we've been developing all kinds of means and methods, if you will. Our construction company has developed some means and methods to actually try to get through those different elevations of rock. And that's been a huge challenge. And so, but it's the kind of thing that a number of states have also been coming to Connecticut to actually to see how we are doing it. We've had visitors from California, from New Jersey, from New York, Massachusetts. They've all been here because they're all looking at basically how they can increase the capacity also as they build this type of terminal going forward. We're doing something right now that is a first, and we want, and so it's been a challenge being first.
Absolutely.
But Connecticut is also showing its mettle once again.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. So we talked about the construction. So from the construction, what's the next step? We're going to sort of backtrack here.
Yes, well, after construction, it's going to be now operations.
Okay.
And one of the things that we also are trying to make sure that our citizens understand is that while initially this is going to be for a new industry, offshore wind, our real game plan here is to make sure that this pier is a pier that's going to service commercial heavy lift cargoes from around the world going forward. Anytime that we have a lull with respect to offshore wind industry, Gateway and the CPA will be marketing the port to other customers from around the world for heavy lift cargo that we have not been able to basically accommodate in the past.
Right.
So that's something that we want really our citizens to really know, and that is the long-term game plan is for us to have the kind of heavy lift cargo port in New England that we have not been able to accommodate in the past. So that's just another feature, if you will.
Okay. And as far, how long is this whole project going to take? A couple of years?
Oh, well, it's going to be finished at the end of this year.
Okay.
Yes, end of this year.
All right.
And South Fork is our first wind project. That will be completed also at the end of this year. And we will start Revolution Wind next year. And so it's now off to the races in terms of our project also being the first project in federal waters. So we're doing a number of firsts with this project. We'll have the first United States vessel that's built for turbine installation coming next year. And while apparently, and again, while it's even being built, there have been specifications, if you will, that we've accommodated while it's being built at the pier. So a great deal is happening for the first time in our country as it relates to this new industry.
And I'm assuming also with the project going on, it's also creating jobs.
That is something, Pete, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of my proudest moments really was watching not only the first vessel to dock at the Port of New London,
Yep.
But when that first vessel docked, it also was met, if you will, by the ILA workers who had not been able to work at the pier during the construction period. Watching those workers come back to a world-class, marine resilient port, and the expressions that they had during that time period while they were getting their gear from Gateway to actually be able to work on the port. That was a moment I will never ever forget, because it was a very, very proud moment for them, and they were also very, very happy to be back on a world-class port, because they're also going to be because this is a new industry, they're going to be learning also new tricks of the trade as well. And they're up to the part as well. So that has been very, very rewarding to watch. But this also means a great deal to the local economy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Just to give you an example,
Sure.
And it's a very small example, but this example multiplies itself many, many times over. I go to my barber in New London, and I walk in, and I'm sitting down, and he's saying to me, "Hey, Ulysses," he says, "some of your guys just left." And I was like, "What do you mean some of my guys just left?" And he said, "Well, the guys who were working on the pier." He said, "Several of them have been in, and they were telling us all the work that they're doing." And that was just, I had never really thought about the fact that the barbershop was also going to be one of those places that's going to be benefiting, if you will, from the activity that's taking place.
Absolutely.
With respect to, this particular new industry and the construction that's taking place in this new industry.
And I'm sure it's good for the downtown,
Oh,
the restaurants,
the restaurants.
shops.
Oh, and the shops.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, it's been great to see. It's been great to see. There's a buzz right now in New London.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
And what else do you want to tell us about the Port Authority as far as other projects that you guys are involved with?
Well, some of most of the projects that I mentioned earlier are the ones that we are primarily involved in, and that is the small harbors with respect to the infrastructure for those small harbors of Connecticut up and down the coast,
Okay.
and also with respect to the Pilot Commission, and making sure that our pilots receive proper training.
Right.
Because they're the ones that are going to be responsible for bringing these vessels into the harbor. The harbor right now at New London is a new harbor, and we were able to also coordinate, if you will, training for those pilots, because we want to make sure that everything is safe
Right.
when those vessels are actually docking into our harbors. So training is another aspect of what we do, and making sure that our pilots are properly trained. Yes.
Now, I'm assuming you guys work pretty closely with Congressman Courtney's office?
Oh, absolutely. No, Congressman Courtney is a worker,
Yeah.
and a true friend, to everyone in Connecticut. And when it comes to dredging and dredging legislation, when it comes to actually doing all of the tackling and blocking that you need to make sure that we are able to do the kind of dredging that we need in Connecticut, he's at the forefront of all of that.
Absolutely.
And as I indicated, it's just been someone who just gets the work done, just gets the jobs done.
Absolutely.
And it's just been a great public servant to work with.
Yeah, because he's actually a friend of the show. I've known Congressman Courtney for a lot of years, and usually my anniversary show is in October.
Right.
So usually once a year he'll come down.
Right.
We'll schedule a time for him to come down when he's in Connecticut, and
That's right.
him and I will do a hour show together. And
Oh, great.
it'll just be like we're sitting there having a cup of coffee, just going back and forth about topics and
That's right.
issues. And he's such a nice man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Absolutely.
And he's been at the forefront, though, of the dredging that we've been doing as well. And so that's something that, when it comes to why New London, one of the reasons why this particular project is coming out of New London is because there are no obstructions vertically.
Right.
When it comes to bridges and power lines, but there are also no obstructions horizontally as it relates to the breakwaters.
Yep.
So New London is uniquely positioned for this industry, especially in terms of its relationship to where those federal waters are for the wind farms. So I wanted to also just kind of point that out as well.
Now let's talk about how closely you guys work with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Very closely. And when it comes to the design of some of these dredging projects, especially the one that's taking place right now in New Haven, it's been the Army Corps of Engineers that has really taken the lead on the design of those projects, and also assisted with respect to 50% also of the funding, which is really important.
Right.
So they've been a good partner, and you just can't really buy, if you will, the kind of expertise that they are able to bring to a project like the redesign, if you will, of a dredging area.
And I'm sure they do a pretty thorough job when they dredge.
Absolutely, Absolutely. No, they've been a great partner to work with.
Now, as far as information for the Port Authority, if people want to go to the website, what types of information can they find?
Well, you can find information about the progress of all of our projects. We have a dashboard
Okay.
with respect to all the projects, and that's going to be really a good way to see the progress of all the projects that we're involved in. And so I would invite anyone and everyone to actually take a look at the dashboard and follow, if you will, the progress of the CPA.
Absolutely. Sounds like you guys are going to have a very busy summer, very busy fall.
Oh, it's going to be very busy, and it is very busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is very busy, but it's also very rewarding at this point in time too, because all of the hard work that has taken place over the course of the last year and a half to two, it's coming to fruition right now in terms of operations, and that is making the entire port operational.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ulysses Hammond from the Port Authority, I want to thank you for some time, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely.
You got it. On behalf of Ulysses Hammond, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.